Hey guys, how's it? So I'm going to start putting this Ecodiesel motor back together now. So just to show you quickly, I've cleaned the block now. Cleaned it again. I cleaned it in April, and seeing that I had to wait 8 months for bearings, so I just had to clean it again. So that's done. I used this syringe here to put diesel at high pressure, or relatively high pressure, through all the veins and the grooves inside the motor to make sure I get all the gunk and the rubbish out of that. So you'll be surprised of the rubbish that comes out of there, so that's quite a good idea to use. So yeah, it's obviously it's sitting upside down, but there's the block. There's the block. It's got these cooling jets that I took out to clean them also. You can see they spray oil up into the bottom of the piston, so just take them out, clean them, remember to put them back. So yeah, there's the block. I'm going to start assembling now. There's the bed plate. There's the bed plate. So I'm going to start assembling now, and I'll see you again when the crank is in. Okay, new main bearings are in. Thank you, King Bearings. MB4556SX. There you go. There's the bearings in the bed plate. King Bearings MB4556SX. Thank you. Okay, crank is in the block. See, there's the new bearings. Crank is in the block, and I have sealed put a bead of sealant on the bed plate. That's exactly where the factory marks were, so just have a look at that. That's quite critical. Right, bed plate's going on now. Loop the bearings, going on, torque it, and then we'll see you when it's torqued. Alright, crank is in. So what you want to do, these bolts, all the bolts on the mains, direct on the mains, you want to put them in first, finger tighten them. I'm going to give it in Newton meters. You guys can just convert it, you American guys can just convert it to pound feet. So finger tighten it, then torque it to 45 Newton meters, and then plus 110 degrees. Okay, so all these, the ones directly on the mains, finger tighten, 45 degrees Newton meters, and then 110 degrees. That's it. Then you do these on the sides. (120 Newton meters). And then lastly you do these little M8s. There's 3 little M8s. There's one, and there's one. Right at the end you torque them to 30 Newton meters. That's it. Okay, pistons are ready to go back in. Cleaned them nicely. Same rings, but they're nice and loose. Seem to expand very nicely, so the tension is still there. And there's the block one more time. Okay, all 6 the pistons are in. So what you want to do with these big end bolts is you want to put them in, line them up. Just be careful of the caps. Those caps can only go on one way, and each cap goes with a specific conrod, because it's a forged conrod, and the whole thing was forged as one unit, and then the cap was split off, so it broke off in a particular way. So you can't mix the caps between the conrods, and you also can't turn the caps around. They can only go one way. So when you take them off, mark them very carefully. can only go on a specific conrod, specific way. Okay, right, so when you want to put them back, these bolts, you want to torque them 10 Newton meters, then you want to torque them 25 Newton meters, and then you want to go plus 75 degrees. So 10 Newton meters, 25 Newton meters, plus 75 degrees. And that's it. So now we're going to put the oil pump on, and the pickup, and the windage tray, and the sump. But yeah, there's the bottom end one last time. Hopefully I never ever have to see this in my life again. New bearings, main bearings, connecting rod bearings, everything is new. Everything is lubed up, everything is torqued. So yeah, let's put the sump on. Okay, the windage tray, the oil pump, and the oil pump pickup is now on. Here's the oil pump, driven by that gear on the crank. Open it, make sure it's clean inside. Everything nice and clean. Now we're going to put the sump on, and we finished with the bottom end. Alright, sump is up, on. I didn't clean the outside of the sump, but the inside cleaned it like brand new. See the oil pickup. When you take off the sump, it comes off in two sections. This little bottom section that sits here, you have to take off while the engine is still in the car, otherwise you won't get it out. So that's why they made it like that. So you take that off while the engine's in the car, and then the big sump you can take off when it's out. Oh yeah, when you take off the sump, just be careful. All the little bolts are easy to spot, except for the 5 inside. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. But yeah, there's it. You can see how deep the oil pickup comes in. So bottom end is closed. Alright, I'm ready to transfer it from the stand to the hoist. I've already put the engine mounts on, and the aircon compressor also. Then when it's off, because it's a little bit difficult to get to the flywheel when it's on the stand, so I'm going to transfer it to the hoist, and then I'm going to put the rear main seal. I've got a new reluctor wheel, put the weight and put the flywheel or the flex plate on, and then you want to torque that flex plate to 65 foot-pounds, and then it's ready to go back into the car. So I think that is, for this video, that'll be that. In the next video we'll put it in the car. So yeah, guys, please, if you got any value out of this, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Thank you. Take care. Sorry, just to add to that, obviously my heads are off. It's just, to me, it's just easier to put the heads on in the car. So I'm going to put the block in without the heads. So if you want to see where my lifting points are, I've used those 2 bolts. Those are engine mounting bolts that I've used. Those 2 bolts for on the water pump, when the water pump mounts, and then I've used 2 old head bolts just in the back of the engine, the head block holes. So yeah, that's how I lift it. Cheers.